My parents had a huge nursery growing up. It was a Christian home and they had a big flower nursery. It was a very happy childhood growing up. However, I started to rebel at an early age. From the age of 10 I started smoking cigarettes, and from 13, the beginning of high school, I started to experiment with marijuana and just light drugs. When I was 15, my youth pastor took me to an Easter camp, and God met me in an incredible way. I sat out with my youth pastor and I told him all the reasons why I don't want to be a Christian. And I went into the meeting half an hour later, and the guest speaker there listed my reasons word for word and gave an answer to them as why I should be a Christian without knowing what I'd said earlier. I was blown away by this, but still was not ready to commit my life to God. He actually asked if there was anybody by the name of Hans, and I still didn't stand up. And he named my parents and named what they do. And finally, I stood up and accepted Christ as my Lord and Saviour. But 3 weeks after my baptism, things started to go wrong. I went into a life of heavy drug and alcohol abuse. One of my best friends was killed in a drink driving accident, and we had a lot of friends commit suicide, and that whole lifestyle just drove me deeper and deeper into the drink and to the drugs. Within that 8 years, I got to a point where I was drinking every day and started to smoke a lot of methamphetamine. And with that sort of a lifestyle, I got into a lot of trouble with the police. I got to a point in Auckland where I made some very bad decisions and ended up after a weekend of just vomiting blood. And that's when I realised my life had to change. I rang my youth pastor, who was now pastoring a church down in Fielding in the Manawatu, and I asked him if he could help me. On my way down, the accommodation that was sorted for me fell through, and I ended up staying with a family who took me in and loved me, and that family is now my wife's family. They took me in for 2 weeks and they saw the worst of me. They would be going to church in the morning and I'd be coming home from the pub and I'd be covered in blood, and you know, they saw the worst of me. When I was down there, however, I hit my rock bottom. I let those who, for the first time, I saw people caring for me and seeing a future for me, but I betrayed them all. I began to steal from some of them, and I lied to them all. I didn't have my friends to hide behind, and I was lonely. I just ran out of hope. I went to the pastor who I'd come down there to be with, and on December of 2004 I gave my life back to God. Instantly God took the desire for drugs away, and it was February the following year, February the 8th, I had my last drink, and then it was about October that year when I had my last cigarette. Since that time, he has restored my life incredibly. He has restored the relationships between my family. He has my wife, who thought I was disgusting at the time when she first met me. We got married in 2007, and we now have 2 beautiful children together. And it's just been an incredible journey of learning about a God who cares for me and cares about, you know, not just for me, but about every single detail of my life. The psalm that I look to now for my life that speaks for me is that he has taken me from the miry clay and he set my feet upon the rock. And now, from the clay that I was in, I now have a secure place to stand, to bring my family up and to go towards the future that he has for us.